I want to take a look at this because the SplitGate creator basically made a new FPS game. How is it doing anyways? That's my curiosity. How is that new FPS game doing? What was it called again? I completely forgot the name of it already.
You ever see those videos of somebody getting rocked so hard they get restored to factory settings? They start out big and bad, and one god slap later they act like a completely different person? Well, here's Ian Prue of 1047 Games, who you may remember as the Splitgate 2 Make FPS Great Again guy, in an interview with Gaming World talking about 1047's new game Impulse that drops into early access this month.
Impulse, right. Oh wait, it's in early access? Okay, hold on, let me see. Steam B, how is it even doing anyways? That's my curiosity. Ooh. Ooh. Yikes. Yeah. That ain't doing too hot, Chief. That's not, that ain't doing too well. I'm gonna be honest with you.
Yes, this month, as in a year after Splitgate 2 bombed and 6 months after the Arena Reloaded revamp bombed. A company supposedly valued at $1.5 billion was given over $100 million in investments, and just a year into live service on their free-to-play, they're pulling 363 concurrents.
Well, the only reason why he fucked up specifically is because he was talking mad shit or so on stage, right? I don't really care about the hat thing. A lot of people cared about it. No one really cares, okay? The problem of his argument specifically saying that he's tired of the rehash FPS game, right? Of what they're doing. But then he does the same thing. He makes a freaking Battle Royale game mode. And it's like, brother, what are we doing? You're doing the same thing as every other FPS game. What are we talking about, man? So he literally shot himself in the foot, to be frankly honest, with that specific comment in general. So it's just kind of like, are we serious here? He overhyped it and turned out to be a rinse and repeat. Yeah, because he said he was tired of how the other FPS games were doing the same thing over and over again. I'm like, you're doing the same exact thing. You're making a battle royale too. It was a freaking game mode with it. You completely fucked it up.
Gee, I can't imagine why they're putting out a new game so fast. Watch this. Pay attention to not just the words, but also the wardrobe, attitude, all of it.
Splitgate Battle Royale launches free right now, and it's f***ing awesome. We don't like the free-to-play model as gamers. Like, I've never spent $1 on a free-to-play game in my life.
The portals are the unique selling point, right? Gunplay, portals, movement. That will always be the DNA, the secret sauce. Very quickly found the fun.
With portals, it's not fun the first time you use it. It's not fun to get shot in the back from someone you can't see. Ranked is probably going to be coming in the next, like, 2.
What? Misma receta de diferente nombre. Sí, casi más o menos. Es más como decir. Ellas quieren hacer algo igual como Titanfall. Algo más o menos como una spirit successor de Titanfall. Pero el problema es, estaba diciendo un montón de mierda, que estaba diciendo, ay, todos esos otros juegos de la FPS son casi todos iguales. Yo estoy cansado que todos son iguales, pero el problema es, él hizo la misma cosa. Él hizo un Battle Royale. Y yo estoy aquí. ¿Qué estás hablando, muchachos? Si estás haciendo la misma cosa como los otros juegos. Y tú dijiste que tú es bien diferente que los otros. ¿Hello?
2 to 4 weeks. We will have ranked on day 1. All your standard stuff that you would expect. And I'm tired of playing the same Call of Duty every year. We do feel that the genre is in a bad state. There are great games. Marathon really, honestly,
es la misma
underrated. I
compañía
think it's
que hizo
super fun.
el Splitgate.
And what's that I hear? Ah, Kingert, another backpedaling video? I'll tell you what, if the games industry starts listening to players before they break the bank and not after, I'll stop making these videos.
Okay, all right. That okay with you?
Yes, sir.
Goody.
Does Impulse really stand for everything opposite of Splitgate 2? Did they really learn hard lessons, or did they just learn the right things to say? Let's get into it.
Is it even good?
The comically short timeline on this change of heart is very revealing on just how bad last year must have been for these guys. Keeping this brief because I've covered it in videos past, it was only 1 year ago in summer 2025 that 1047 had their Xbox One reveal moment, their reset slap, a misguided marketing strat that I'll call right message, wrong game. He strutted out on stage in his Make FPS Great Again hat to trash the AAA shooter scene's
Como que Jares, no sé qué es esa palabra, de los juegos gachas de hacer un gacha juego. Es que es como, él es como él específico es un, ¿cómo decir? Like an old player. Es como como él jugaba los juegos como los primeros Call of Duty cuando salieron. Cuando Call of Duty estaba bueno, como casi no está bueno, ya no. Antes sí, tantos años antes sí, pero ya casi no, ya casi Yo lo jugué unos de las nuevas, pero no están bien buenos como los viejos. Los viejos son más mejores que los nuevos. Y eso que
originality and
quiere
lack of
hacer
quality
él.
control, which, yes, please continue. But then in the same breath announced a generic, free-to-play battle royale in a game that was practically Halo, COD Warzone, and Apex Frankenstein stitched together and contained monetization even more aggressive than your average store bundle. And outside of a small fan base, most people's take on it was, meh. Game is fine, but I wouldn't play it over any of my others though, and the player base fizzled. It was one of my picks for 2025's most aggressively mid. A game not
Sí, so la cosa es también de los cosméticos que ellos vendió en la tienda, costaba muy caro. Más caro que del juego del Valorant. Y el Valorant le cuesta bien caro las cosas ahí para comprar para los pies de la pistola y todo eso, ¿verdad? Pero de ellos específico, estaba bien agresivo la monetization.
all worthy of carrying the I think AAA sucks banner. A PR misfire so catastrophic, had this been from some large company, Ian probably would have been removed as CEO.
That's not the 1047 way.
Now fast forward a year to summer 2026, and their new game Impulse already had a free demo that ended, and a $20 early access is going live. Well, today, actually. And in this interview, we see an excited, collected Ian saying many of the right things, but forgive me if many of these make me do a double take. Let's see what about their marketing approach has changed. First and most obvious, the hat. No incendiary statements focusing on competitors. This time we want to focus on our game. Good call. I'm sure they're not eager to achieve virality without a stellar game to back it up again anytime soon. The free-to-play model actually sucks.
When you get into like the free-to-play model, it's got its pros and cons, but it really does force you to focus on different things like monetization because it's free. You have to make money somehow. Like I don't want to have to put my team on making crazy over-the-top skins. Like I want my team focused on what is the community asking for? Oh, they want a new mode or a new gun? Like I'd rather them make a new gun than make a new skin.
Wait a minute. Focusing on what makes a game better instead of just shop rotations? It's funny that I and many others said exactly this after Splitgate 2 dropped, that games transitioning from being the product to just being a storefront for more products has directly resulted in less quality control in just about every aspect of modern gaming, which was all the more strange as to why he was calling out the FPS genre and simultaneously 1047 was succumbing to one of its biggest pitfalls with Splitgate 2.
There's no in-game purchases. It's $20 early access. That's it.
Including everything in a game after just paying one time? What is this foreign language you're speaking? Now, it's unclear to me from this interview, though, if he means no in-game store in early access or no in-game store ever. Guess we'll see, but with the logic he's provided about team focus, I would think that same logic should still apply even when it doesn't have an early access label too.
We don't like the free-to-play model as gamers. I've never spent $1 on a free-to-play game in my life.
Excuse me, I struggle to see just how genuine any of this is though. Telling us you've never spent a dime on an in-game store, trust me I'm a gamer, is quite the thing to say after just trying to sell us on a free-to-play game with an in-game store, trust me I'm a gamer, just a year ago. Now the first step to recovery is admitting you have a problem, so that's good, and boy does Ian not have any trouble admitting Splitgate 2's problems now.
Was there a reason why you moved away from portals and made it more of a focus on movement because maybe it's easier for people
people to grasp with portals. For one, it's a lot harder to get over that hump of
Look, I'm gonna be honest with you. Okay, I'm an FPS player, right? Well, I used to be, right? I used to play quite a lot of FPS in the day, right? I will be honest with you, the only people that are going to play this game itself, right, are going to be just the hardcore players that are going to do just movement shit. Don't get me wrong, movement is cool, okay? I'm not saying it's not cool not to be in an FPS game, but like I'm going to be honest with you, the formula of the older Call of Duties for movement wise was just perfect. I don't like any of the new Call of Duty's movement. It feels like you're sliding on fucking on fucking like wax floor. I like how it is in the older Call of Duty because there was space in between. Like you had breathing room, you know. In the newer Call of Duties or in the newer FPS in general, you're like a fucking crackhead on ADHD. You're getting shot from like different angles. You're barely getting any breaks or so, or any time for breathers to fix your positioning to move to a different spot, you know. Hold down choke points, you know. The guns you know, actually do something in their specific role, you know. That's what the older ones were, you know. You had some people who would use their light machine guns to hold down a specific choke point. You know, you had your SMG people. You had your specific you had your sniper rifles. You had all this stuff. Annoying though, it's not fun. The old COD of the Modern Warfare 4, Black Ops 2, etc. Well, yeah, like even like I'm gonna be honest with you, I still vouch for Black Ops 3, still good, as in like the best movement type of Call of Duty. I still vouch for Black Ops 3 because that was like the last Call of Duty I did semi-professional. And I'll be honest with you, that one had the right balance of movement. It was not crazy like Advanced Warfare, and it didn't feel like it was a copy of Black Ops 4 because of Infinite Warfare. Infinite Warfare, Advanced Warfare were not the greatest. Black Ops 3, when it became the movement shit, was actually the right balance of it, you know?
like this is a fun mechanic because it's not fun the first time you use it. Whereas wall running and grappling,
fun instantly.
It's fun instantly. I think the other thing is just the frustration factor of like, it's
I don't
not
think this
fun
game is gonna
to
survive.
get shot in the back from someone you can't see.
Like this game specifically, I don't think this game is going to survive. There's also, look, I'm not trying to be a Debbie Downer, but there's also another FPS game that we saw on the Summer Game Fest, the WTF, the Waifu Tactical Force game. I don't know about that game in general. I saw gameplay of it, and it's the same thing as this one. It's like so fucking movement heavy. Like it's like just crackhead movement heavy. And I'm just kind of like, I don't know, man. Like I did like Strinova. Strinova was really nice. It didn't feel like it was trying to be like a crackhead FPS game. But the problem is, what did I just wasn't a fan of the monetization of the game in general, you know? That's what kind of like got me away from the game. It's not gonna survive because he was dishonest off the rip. Yeah, that is also true, but I'm also like doubtful or so on the WTF game as well, the FPS game as well. I don't think that one's gonna do very well. The anime waifu tactical force game. Like, I think it'll do fine. It's going to have its core audiences, but I don't think it's going to last very long, you know? El Black Ops 2 Zombie fue la mejor modo alternativa, buena recuerdos. Eso sí es verdad. Yo jugaba el Black Ops 2 y el 3 semi-profesional antes. I like where they're going with Infinity Ward. I like it because of the space gimmicks. Yeah, don't get me wrong, it's cool and everything, like the space gimmick stuff, but the problem is what I had specifically with Infinite Warfare, especially the multiplayer side, the characters felt soulless because they had no face, right? And Black Ops 3, at least the heroes had characteristic in them, you know? They had character. That's what I liked Black Ops 3 a lot more, because there was more love and care in those characters compared to Infinite Warfare. Infinite Warfare's multiplayer aspect, the heroes, you know, quotation marks, the heroes, they just copied of Black Ops 3, but it's just a more soulless version of it. And that's basically it.
This game has a high skill ceiling, to your point, but I can at least digest
The
what just
campaign was
happened.
good.
Now, I applaud Ian for looking for the reasons that Splitgate 2 didn't take off the way they wanted, but I think you could do that without Uno reversing the main identity of your only franchise to date, the main selling point. Because what better way to build trust in an already broken community than to crap on the very ideas you've been pitching to them your entire career? Now, I get it, this is a live interaction, so sometimes things just aren't said as well as they could have been, had it been scripted out or something, but you don't have to throw Splitgate under the bus to prop up Impulse. No need to stand on Splitgate's corpse if Impulse is good enough on its own, right? It's really not about if he's right or not, which is better, Portals or Movement. It's about the optics. And the optics say, this guy has no idea what fun is. He's that
Sí, en Black Ops 3
entrepreneur
sí
friend you
tenía
have
eso,
that seems like
más
they're
que
doing something
del
new every
Infinite
time you
Warfare.
talk to them. And they're always out of breath for some reason. If you don't even believe what you sell, why should we?
Say, weren't you the same guy who sold us these candy bar bags?
I don't recall.
Who's to say they won't do this again with Impulse 12 months from now? And that is not a question
Va,
you
pues,
want
ahí
people
cuídate
asking when
entonces.
your new game has a
Ahí te
paywall.
cuídate,
And in
Víctor.
a framing
Ten
tactic
cuidado, ¿ok?
probably representative of
Y
the
ahí tenés unas
biggest
buenas
lesson that
noches.
Ian learned. It's not just the hat. Here's his new spoken stance when it comes to talking about competing FPS games.
This time last year,
Yep.
to make FPS great again, the progression of shooters lately has not been great. Is that still the goal for you guys to try and push things forward?
There's definitely things I would have done differently. We don't need to dive into that, but like that was not the move. There are great games like Arc Raiders I've been playing. It's super fun. Marathon, really, honestly, like underrated. I think it's super fun. Like there's a lot.
Did you just say Marathon is underrated? Ugh. Ugh. Oh, man. Oh. Oof. Okay. All right. I see. I have played very few FPS, COD, Valorant, and Arc Knights. Arc Knights? Wait, which Arc Knights? Are you talking about Arc Raiders? I'm offended with that take. Yeah, he literally said specifically, freaking Marathon is underrated. Oh, dude, what is wrong with you? Why did you say that? Ugh. Ahí también tú ahí te descansas también.
A lot of great games out, but there's definitely an era of games that we hope we see more of.
They're all great. We
No, I'm
love
talking about the
everyone.
Arc
We're
Knight
just here to
one.
make a game, guys. This is a far cry from the combative, anti-establishment criticism that we got for Splitgate 2. This tells me, beyond a
I've never
shadow
heard
of
of
a
an
doubt, that
FPS Arc
1047
Knights.
recognized that their problems were amplified by their attitude. If you say you're the best and everyone else sucks, and that happens to be true, then it's seen as earned confidence. But with Splitgate 2, that wasn't true, so it was seen as unearned arrogance.
Yeah, the problem is specifically he was all bark. You know, it's fine if you want to trash on the other FPS games, but if you're gonna do the talk of the talk, right? You gotta show me what you got. And the guy didn't really show anything. Like, he literally didn't. When I saw this specific announcement, I really didn't care about the hat. I just kind of like made fun of it specifically, you know? And personally, you know, it was just kind of like, okay, buddy, you're just making a battle royale like every other AAA game. So there's really nothing of a difference here. So yeah.
Trial by fire that probably changed the way Ian will do public speaking for the rest of his life. His whole attitude here is humble. He keeps taking the conversation back to Impulse, even when asked about the rest of the industry. Really, this is exactly what 1047 needed right now, and good on Ian to recognize that. But none of this means jack without a game to care about, right? So what even is Impulse? What is this game that started with 15 people working on it and now has the majority of 1047's remaining workforce stepping away from Splitgate to prioritize?
Stand by for Titanfall.
Well, before we continue, I need to clear something up about Impulse that the internet has completely run away with. Impulse is not Titanfall 3. After playing the demo, I wouldn't even call it a Titanfall spiritual successor. Rumors and descriptions of this thing as being a Titanfall-like have spread like wildfire over the last few weeks, and this time it's PR that I actually don't blame 1047 Games for. All they have said is it's inspired by other games, as is their MO, this time being movement shooters like Titanfall and Black Ops 3.
We've had a small section of the team start working.
I don't know if this game gives me Black Ops 3 vibes. It's more like Titanfall. It leans more on Titanfall than Black Ops 3.
On a new
I'm
game.
like, Call of Duty Black Ops 7 leans more to Black Ops 3 compared to this game, you know?
In addition to Splitgates, what I will say is it is a movement shooter. And if you're a fan of games like Titanfall or Black Ops 3, we would love to hear from you.
The earliest instance I could find of someone calling it a Titanfall spiritual successor is Insider Gaming's article, exclusive, Splitgate developer 1047 Games is working on a spiritual successor to Titanfall, dubbed Impulse. But that didn't stop the hype train though, did it? Other outlets picked it up, YouTubers picked it up, social media picked it up, and before long, the entire conversation around this game became something that 1047 never actually promised.
Impulse is a movement shooter, 6v6. Everything is built around movement. I'll just be honest, like, we are not trying to make Titanfall 3. Like, we're getting a lot of the Titanfall comparisons. We are Titanfall fans, so we're not shy
Dude,
about.
I ain't gonna lie. I want to make an FPS game, but like I wanted it to be a spiritual successor to Black Ops 2 and Black Ops 3, you know? Like, that's what I want to do, you know? Like, maybe have a game mode with, like, Black Ops 3 feeling, and then have the other game mode that is just boots on the ground, but have, like, specific maps for that one. You know, have, like, separate kinds of maps, basically. You know? Like, that's what I would do personally. Like, I would make something like this, you know? It would be, I would carefully craft these maps to make them feel like, you know, like the old Call of Duty days, you know? Like, it doesn't feel like you have crackhead energy or anything like that, you know? Like, no crazy, like, movement speed. Just the right type of balance of movement speed, just like in BO3 and BO2, you know? And that's kind of basically it. Like, I would do something like that. It'd be a successor to those games, the original 3.
That. We're obviously taking inspiration, but we have our own twist on it.
Which sucks for them because we know a Titanfall follow-up is something that people would absolutely eat up. Can you imagine if that had been the final reveal at the Game Awards 25 instead of what we got?
Dude, if that was the final trailer reveal at the Game Awards, I would have lost my shit, to be honest. Because I would be pretty excited for a Titanfall game.
People would have lost their minds.
From 61 members of the team that built Apex Legends and Titanfall.
We should have gotten
not Titanfall.
What?
But
we
after
should have gotten
spending
a
several
Titanfall
hours
game.
with the
It should have been
demo, the
Titanfall
best
3.
way I can describe it is this. Impulse feels like a hybrid of Splitgate 2 and Black Ops 3 that just happens to have no portals, a grapple ability, and the occasional mech spawn in for the whole team to share. That's it. And that one mech is so easy to take down, regular weapons can do it pretty quickly. So if you do decide to try the demo or spend the $20 when early access launches, do not go into this expecting Titanfall. You're setting yourself up for disappointment. And that's not necessarily a criticism, by the way, I'm just trying to help set expectations. They're not trying to make a Titanfall game, so Titanfall shouldn't be the reference point for comparison, it should be Splitgate. I'll keep referencing Titanfall 2, but only to keep combating the only real narrative surrounding this game right now. Impulse is an arena movement shooter with the DNA of Splitgate 2 all over it. From the way the movement feels to even what look like recycled animations, which helps explain the quick development speed of this thing, I'm sure. While Titanfall 2 is one of my favorite examples to point to show that both immersion and a high skill gap can coexist, Impulse doesn't really have any immersion to speak of. It's less battle and more arena. They want the skill ceiling to be high like Titanfall 2, but I'd say after playing both, Impulse's is lower. Titanfall 2 had faster movements, it was more challenging to keep up momentum because the maps had more more space between
Es
obstacles.
que la cosa es porque no hicieron un Titanfall 3, es porque no hizo, el segundo juego no hizo bien, ¿verdad? Pero esa es la culpa de la compañía, porque salió en el mismo tiempo con Call of Duty y Battlefield. Estaba ahí en el medio de esos dos juegos. ¿Y qué es la otra razón? Y casi no tenía un montón de, ¿cómo decir? Advertisement. Y eso es todo. Que yo casi no escuchaba mucho del juego. Y venía en el medio de esos dos otros juegos que estaban más grandes que ellos. Esa es la cosa porque no vendió y entonces dijeron que no van a hacer un número 3. Esa es la razón por qué.
New
Si es
players
la
will still
culpa de
get
la
crushed in
compañía.
Impulse till they figure out how to get going, I have no doubt about that, but moving was pretty easy to pick up even in my first match. The maps available are much smaller and more boxy than Titanfall 2's, so it's a lot more forgiving when it comes to keeping up momentum. Pair that with some gnarly aim assist and no ADS so you can still see where you're moving
Nunca más
even
nunca
mid-firefight,
más
and
a
I'll be
tener un
interested to see
Titanfall
if the
3.
skill ceiling being lower will be a pro or a con to the movement bros. If a crustacean like me can zip across the map, anyone can. But they said this is just early access, so who knows how Impulse will change over time with player feedback. But all of this brings us to the real question behind 1047's huge change in direction. What's the
Hey, Duma.
motive here? And the way I see it, there's two probable possibilities. A, they got an injection of investment money for Splitgate 2, got too ambitious and lost sight of what made players like Splitgate 1, got humbled, learned hard lessons, and now they're applying those lessons in earnest. Or option B, they were arrogant, Splitgate 2 underperformed, and now they're just saying what players want to hear because they recognize they are at rock bottom. Now, I do
B.
believe in second chances. I believe in redemption.
Of
If we
course.
don't believe that any of these companies or the industry can improve, then what are we doing here?
Yeah,
Let's
of
stop
course.
watching YouTube videos, let's stop paying attention to new games that come out, and just kick it with our library of oldies but goodies. Seriously, please come play Titanfall 2. Waiting 2 to 3 minutes for a match sucks. But unfortunately, it's impossible to tell the real character behind the backpedaling of any of these companies when they're at a low point. At rock bottom, everyone's apologetic, everyone's transparent, everyone wants to hear player feedback because they have no choice. It's when they're at the top, or at least they think they're at the top. Oh, hey, Giz. When you see who they really are, how easy they think it is to manipulate their customers, if their words will really translate into redemptive actions. So to me, I don't really think we could answer this question until or unless 1047 finds their way
care,
into
Ruben. Be
success again,
safe.
and we see how they act then. Will Impulse remain microtransaction free for as long as Ian said it would? Will 1047 keep focus on making good games over delivering the quickest, most unoriginal product they can? They say so, but only time will tell if this time they mean it. Like Call of Duty, they showed us exactly who they were when they were on top, and now that they've had a bad year, they're all about community feedback. Click here for more on that. Thank you, patrons and channel members, as always.
Yeah. I don't know. Me personally, when it comes to Impulse itself, I don't think it's going to last long. Plus, at the same time, it looks like he's only catering to the hardcore FPS players, which don't get me wrong, I was a hardcore FPS player, but I'm not a hardcore FPS player anymore, you know? Like I can still do good, you know, because it's like it's all muscle memory, right? But I don't know. I feel like this specific game is not going to do well. I think it's gonna have a very niche audience. It's already only at like 2,000, like what, 2,000 players right now at the moment? From what we saw. So I don't think, I don't think it's gonna do very well. Yeah. I don't know, man. It's kind of a Debbie Downer, and plus it's at 66%. I don't know. We'll see. They got one strike by using a BR in the Splitgate 2. Now the second for the Titanfall reskin. At this rate, he is lost in trust and is showing a pattern. Well, I don't know. I'm like, there is redemption arc, right? There is a redemption arc. I'm hoping that, like, he turns it around at the end of the day, but I don't know. For me specifically, the game doesn't really give me Black Ops 3 vibes, right? At least when it comes to like the movement in general, it just kind of gives me like Titanfall-esque vibes. Like if it's supposed to represent like Splitgate and Titanfall more than Black Ops 3, then yeah, I don't know. Like I said, this game and another game kind of like gives me a little like, you know, this one and the Waifu Tactical Force. When I saw gameplay of those, I was just kind of like, I don't know, man. I'm like, don't get me wrong, the movement is nice, but like too much of it is just not great. So, but yeah. Anyways, that's the end of the video. You guys can comment, like, subscribe, do all that fancy jazzy stuff, and yeah, we'll see what happens. Siento que usar el feedback no es por falta de creatividad, es dar más margen, margin, a que los usaron a usario. Espérate, déjame ver. Déjame que me ponga aquí ahorita.
Siento que usar el feedback no es por falta de creatividad, es dar más margen a lo que los usuarios quieren.
Sí, pero también ponieron ¿cómo decir? El juego del Splitgate también abajo del piso. So, ellos también están votando ese juego que ellos hicieron el último año, porque estaba diciendo de verga el último año que diciendo que estamos la más mejor juego que todo eso allá afuera, como sea. Pero de verdad, solo que estaba una copia, ya salió este juego, y a la misma está poniendo el juego que salió el último año al bajo piso y está parando arriba de ellos y diciendo, no, este juego que estamos saliendo ahorita, que acaba de salir hoy, es más mejor y estamos escuchando todos los gentes que estaban diciendo y yeah, so, ya casi ya sabes, so. Was Waifu Textile first a game where you could look down to see the boobas? I'm not too sure, to be honest, but yeah. Anyways, that's the end of the video, and peace.